This app, and this app would have cost tens of thousands of dollars to build just 3 years ago. But all of them were built for a fraction of that, leveraging the power of AI. You see, up until recently, if you wanted to build a sophisticated app like the one I just showed you, it would require a front-end developer, a back-end developer, a UI UX designer, a product manager, aka a bunch of cash. But these days, there are AI tools that can help you turn your idea into an app that's in the App Store in a matter of days. So in this video, I'm going to be building one from scratch, step by step, so that you can know exactly how to build one too. But before we jump in, let's talk about which tool we're going to use, because choosing the wrong tool for this can literally make you build an entire weekend and end up having to throw everything in the trash once you want to get it inside of the App Store. And if you're a regular on the channel, you know that I love platforms like Lovable, Base44, Emergent, but unfortunately, those are not necessarily the best platforms to build native mobile apps. Those are all amazing to build web apps, but if you need to build an app that has access to your camera, that has access to basically all of the hardware on your phone. So after testing a couple out, I figured out that Rourke Max is actually the best one to build with at the moment. And so I reached out to them, asked them if they would sponsor, and they happily did. So I am very grateful for Rourke. But in just a couple moments, you're gonna see why I chose Rourke specifically for this challenge. And if you're skeptical, great, because I'm literally gonna show you exactly why I chose this tool. But in a nutshell, it builds apps in Swift, which is perfect for the iOS and Android store. It gives me access to the camera, to Apple Health, which is gonna be super valuable for the build we're about to do. It publishes to the App Store in only a couple of clicks, way easier than all the other platforms at the moment. So that's the tool. Now let's talk about what we're gonna build, because this story is actually fascinating. This is Zach, and at only 18 years of age, when everyone else was worried about how they can get their driving test passed, he was actually building companies. He had just sold a $100,000 company, and he was now scaling a new app called Cal AI. The concept is pretty simple. You snap a picture of the food that you're eating, and it basically determines the exact calories, the amount of protein, the amount of carbs, and it's an awesome way for health-conscious people to be able to track their calories. But here's the crazy part. In under 2 years, he was able to scale this to $30 million in revenue. And most recently, he sold that to MyFitnessApp for tens of millions of dollars. So I've chosen to rebuild this app because there is a huge demand for it. And the little twist will simply be to be a little bit cheaper. So now that we know what we're gonna create, let's jump in and start building. So the first step is the foundation. If we don't get this right, nothing else is actually gonna work. And we're gonna be able to build to make this entire process smooth from a good foundation. I'm gonna start by describing the app that I wanna build, relatively simple terms. And here I'm gonna talk about the navigation, the design system I want in place, and then which screens I actually want. Now at first, we're not gonna have all of these really work perfectly, but then I'm gonna be adding on the brain in the next step. If I don't get this first step right, I'm probably not gonna get anything else right. So I'm gonna go inside of Rourke here, and I'm pretty much gonna post what I created. Here, a quick description: build a native iOS app called MacroSnap. It's a calorie and macro tracker where users photograph their food to log it. Now, some of you are wondering how I actually built this prompt. The reality is that I went to Claude and just asked it, could you create a simple starter prompt for Rourke Max to be able to build a clone of Cal AI? I explained I wanted to do this in steps, and I told it to create the individual prompts I would need to feed to Rourke. That's my process, but you could also go straight to Rourke Max, put it in planning mode, and take it from there. In this case, I'm also gonna click on this, which is for iPhone, specifically selected here. Make sure to always have that on. And we're gonna go ahead and start with this prompt. Now, the great thing we're seeing is that we're gonna be able to actually see what this looks like for real inside of an app, because the presentation is done exactly like this. And the first thing it feeds back to me is a plan. I'm gonna wanna review this plan. It pretty much fits exactly what I was talking about, the different navigation bars, right? The home, history, center, camera, button, and the settings as well, which is perfect, as well as the design system I gave it, and the home screen. So this all looks good. If I want to correct anything, I could at this point. I'm gonna go ahead and click approve, because we're gonna be layering in the more complex parts of the app moving forward. And the great thing about AI coding is that because it's doing all the coding for you, it always gives you a little moment to doom scroll Instagram, which is very healthy. Oh my God, this guy has way better abs than me. Wait, Christian, you don't have abs. Now, as you can see on screen, it creates a full to-do list of things it's gonna execute, and then it's gonna go one by one and do them. If it hits any issue, it's automatically gonna try to fix them. And once this is all done, it's pretty much gonna show us what it's created. Once we get there, we're gonna start working on the next step, which is probably gonna be a lot tougher. Okay, so that took about 3 minutes. Now it's built a first version of this. Let's check it out. First thing I noticed on the left-hand side is that it's actually created the full structure and it's telling me exactly what I want to hear. It's ready for you to add AI, camera, backend when you're ready. Again, we're gonna be doing this in phases, so make sure to follow these same steps. But now on the right-hand side, we can actually see the preview of this. And the really cool thing about Rourke is that they actually make it really like a simulated preview. So I can literally just like do it like I would do on my iPhone, and this will return to the app. This is the app itself that it's created. It's even created that nice little thumbnail for it. And here I can kind of see how this functions, right? I can go to the home, which is this, the history, which is sort of my daily calories, a summary of it. Also the settings tab here, where we can see my subscription and other things just like it. So this looks pretty good. Here, camera, perfect, coming next. This is something we're gonna add soon. So overall, everything looks good. The only thing I'd say is I might just give it a little prompt so that these little icons are a little further down and that history is centered, because I see here that it overlaps a little bit with the camera and we don't want that to take place. So I'm gonna make that small design tweak and then we're gonna jump into the next phase. Could you make the bottom nav icons a little bit lower down on the screen? Right now, history is not centered, and we have the camera button on top of it. So make sure that those three are basically side by side. Okay, could you take the three icons at the bottom and bring them further down, please? So that there's more space between the camera snapshot, the history button. Okay, perfect. So now that that's done, I'm gonna go ahead and start building out the next part, which is literally gonna be to get this camera working and the AI behind it as well. I'm gonna grab my second prompt, talk a little bit about it here, and then we're gonna let it run. So you can check out the prompt in the description below if you'd like, so you can see exactly how I've structured them. And if you're trying to make a build similar, you can ask it to make something similar as well. And so here I'm really describing how I want the camera to actually work and how I want the AI to make the analysis. So I'm pretty much gonna post the prompt. You'll find it underneath here inside the description as well, so feel free to grab it. Now, because we're eventually gonna wanna actually test it out on a real device, not just here inside of the preview, I'm actually gonna come here to the top right and click on Run on Your Device. Now here you have the option to download the Rourke Companion app. This will allow you to do this without having to download additional apps. Go ahead and click on it. It's gonna bring you straight there. Now I have the Mac app. I'm gonna open it up and I'm pretty much going to install it. So this is pretty much the app. I'm gonna go ahead and sign in here. I'm gonna continue with Google in this case. Open Rourke Companion, excellent. Apple account, it's gonna ask me to sign in here. Then you wanna connect the device. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do here. I'm gonna grab my cell phone. I'm pretty much going to just plug it in via USB. So this is just to connect it to be able to download the app. And then these should all line up now, and boom, it has now connected. So if we check out the companion app right here, we can see that it has properly set up all the steps. Now pretty much I can, on my phone, check out the app and test it out. So I'm gonna do a screen recording of the app itself, and I'm actually going to test out the functionalities that we've just built. Let's do this. And boom, check it out right here. That's the companion app that I've just installed. And now we're gonna be able to test it out. Perfect, so now I'm gonna actually open up the companion app, boom. And as you can see, we have the app on our phone. I'm gonna go ahead and test out the camera. So basically, if I click on this, now I can actually see what's happening around. So here you can see me in my studio. What's up? And we're gonna be able to actually test it out. Now, because I'm not gonna cook a whole meal just to actually test this out, so what I did is I found a picture on the internet of some chicken and broccoli. I'm gonna go ahead and snap a picture of this. It's gonna start analyzing that, and then hopefully it's gonna be able to give me a result. And so the first version of this, honestly, really impressive. Look at that. We're gonna go ahead and log it, which is awesome. So the AI actually works. Now you might be asking, why are we doing onboarding now? It seems like kind of a detail, but actually the information we're getting from the onboarding is something we want to make sure is really well stored inside of the database, user information, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to go ahead and post my third prompt to be able to do this onboarding experience. It will be a one-time experience. All the prompts are below, so make sure to go inside the comments to check them out so you can see how they're structured. Go ahead and run that. After a couple minutes, we're going to come back and we're going to see and test whether or not this is working correctly. And we're going to be able to test this onboarding now. Now, the main goal of the onboarding is to really get people to set their goals and for us to be able to track against those goals with every picture that we snap, so we make sure we're on our way to get great results for you. Now, this is what it returned pretty much. I'm gonna go through and test this out. If there's any problems I see here, I'm gonna wanna fix them one by one inside the left nav. But I notice here there are three main goals for people. lose weight, maintain muscle gain. In my case, I actually want to gain muscle. So I'm gonna go ahead and test this onboarding from within the screen. I'm gonna click gain muscle. It's gonna ask me how old I am. I'm gonna lie, obviously, because I don't wanna admit that I'm now 40, but hey, I feel like 40 is the new 20, I don't know. Definitely not. But I'm very happy to be 40. I feel like it's an awesome age. And I hope if you're older than that, you should also be excited about being that age because it's just a great time to be alive. How tall am I? Interesting. And it's in centimeters or feet. So I'm actually a centimeters kind of guy. So I can put 187, which is 6'2" normally. 6'2", perfectly. Go ahead and continue. How many pounds? Now I actually only know my weight in pounds because I've been weighing myself with a pound machine. A pound machine is probably not the right term for this. It sounds a little wrong, but let's go ahead and put 184 on a good day. How active are you? So I actually work out 3 to 5 times a day. So I'm gonna put that. Let's put 3 to 5 because I actually am usually at 3. So I feel like, yeah, that could be like a good measure. Calculating your plan. Look at this. Creating a plan for me. My daily target is 3,112, and this is the full onboarding. Let's go ahead and get started. Look at that. 3,112 now is the goal. It's telling me how much I've already used. It actually works perfectly. I'm gonna do a quick test on my phone to see if it also works well, and then we're gonna be able to move on to the next step. Excellent, and the first thing I realize is that we don't have yet data persistence. So actually, we have to do this next step before we can test it out in the app. It works inside the preview and I'm really happy about that. But now we need to make sure that everything that we save in the database is also shown on all devices and for every user eventually, right? So now I'm gonna grab my next prompt, which is gonna allow us to create that persistence. I'm gonna go ahead and paste it on the left hand here, and I'm gonna be creating a home. But this data persistence is actually linked to a couple of different features, right? Like the win streaks, right? How many days in a row are you actually using the app? 7-day bar charts, monthly stats, basically everything that has to do with data is gonna be basically shown once we have this persistence going. So hopefully it's gonna work for a shot. I'm gonna just put it there and we're gonna get back to cooking. Time for a little nap. Okay, so this took 8 minutes to do. It was longer than usual, but the results are actually really impressive. I wanna really recognize how complex some of this stuff actually is. Let's talk about the main things it did here. The first one is that it actually set up the core data. So with CloudKit, which is going to be the database, it basically was able to create the full database. Then it created authentication, sign in with Apple. Then it created a home with real data inside of it. And finally, full history. It also tracks all the logging of the meals. So now this is going to be a real big test, right? It did some of the heavier stuff on the back end, and we're gonna really have to put it to the test to make sure that all these functionalities work correctly. But as you can see from this right here, we have a beautiful little screen that says Macro Snap, which is the name of this app. And you can basically continue by signing up with Apple. So let's go ahead and sign in here. Okay, so now it's gonna ask us what our main goals are. I'm gonna go ahead and do the same onboarding as I had earlier. Okay, so this is great news. Once we hit this screen, we see that everything's at 0 and that my calorie amount here is done. Today I have no logged meals, which is fine. I'm gonna be able to now move on to the next step, which is gonna be to actually test it out. Now again, I'm gonna have to set up Companion for this. So if I just click back up here on the right, and then now I'm gonna have to connect my device once more. And once I do that, we're gonna see all these normally turn green, and hopefully it's gonna allow me now to, boom, it's going to rebuild the app. I'm gonna go ahead and click on here, update app on device. It's gonna be building, and I'm seeing it on my screen installing again, which is perfect. I'm getting it to rebuild it here because I was not able to actually open it on my device. Let's give this another try. And by the way, when you reinstall this, it's gonna ask you to go in here and go into VPN and device management and to allow and trust this device. So I'm gonna do just that right now. This might be a step that you have to do as well, so I wanna make sure you don't get stuck here. Perfect, now we are verified. Okay, so I'm trying to open it up and it's crashing, no problem. I'll just say that here in the left nav. Perfect, now it's going through a debugging process because I told it, hey, this is what's happening, could you please help me? And this is pretty normal once we've actually done such a big update right now. So we'll give it a little moment, see if it can find what's happening, and then if it all works out well, we're gonna be able to move on to the next step. If not, I'm gonna be stuck here troubleshooting for a little bit. But hey, I know you guys love seeing this kind of stuff because you're along for the ride. Okay, so it's good to go. Now we're gonna test this thing out. I'm in the onboarding. I'm gonna go through these same steps. Hopefully it will work. It works very nicely here. Go ahead and how tall are you? Continue. Calculating my plan. Excellent. So it's come to the same conclusion here. 3,103, which is only a little bit off of what I had before. So it's pretty much calculating right. Let's get started. All counters are at 0. So now we have the actual database properly connected. It's asking me here if I want to give it access to the camera, and I do. Let's go ahead and allow that. Now let's take another pick. I'm now shopping around the internet for a nice plate of bolognese. Open this inside a new window, new tab. Go ahead and check this out. Now we're gonna go ahead and snap a pic of this. It is now analyzing the picture, and hopefully right here on screen, you're pretty much gonna see, boom, 422 calories. It is 18 grams of protein, 59 grams of carbs, which makes a lot of sense. I'm gonna go ahead and log this now, and hopefully it will save it. Underneath, we have the ingredients that it's showing. Go ahead and log meal. And now you can see that it is saving this. And more importantly, if you go a bit further down here, you're gonna see that we have cooked spaghetti. Excellent. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to go ahead and take a couple snaps of other foods, and hopefully it will also work well in doing the same thing. Let's open this Caesar salad here. I'm gonna go ahead and take a screenshot of the Caesar salad. Okay, let's let it calculate. I think it should be fewer calories in this case. Let's see, 520 calories. Oh, there's a lot of protein. Yeah, this one has actually a lot of meat in it. 26 grams of carbs, those must be the croutons. 29 grams of fat, health level 7 out of 10. I love that. And I'm gonna go ahead and log it, and boom, it's adding itself to my total meter. So this is actually working now, which is absolutely amazing, but we're not done yet. I wanna now check out some of the other features. Let's check out the history. Thursday, which is today, I have 2 logged meals, 1 day of activity. This is all actually working quite well. Today is the 4th of June, perfect. I'm on the free plan right now, which is great. This all looks pretty good. Let's hop into the next step now. Okay, so we know that we're missing payments for the moment, and we also know that we might have some additional features we could add later on. I definitely want to stick and really focus on making these features really good. I just actually went into the app and tested out. I deleted all the meals I had just logged. It worked perfectly. I logged out, logged back in. It also was able to show me the same kind of dashboard as when I had logged out. So things are looking good, but we don't have payments yet, and there might be some additional things that we have to do before we start fine-tuning this app, before we can actually start thinking of putting it in the App Store. But at this point, there's one thing I love to do is to go into plan mode. So you can just click on plan and then ask it what it think we should do next, explaining to it that we know that we haven't done payments yet and that we want to fine-tune, debug, etc. before we actually push to the App Store. But let's ask it because it has a much better understanding of its code base, where it's at in terms of the whole build, and it might even give us information of things that we actually need to do that we're not even thinking about now. Okay, so I know I'm missing payments, and I also want to debug this app, make sure that it is good before I publish it to the App Store. Could you review and recommend any next steps you think might be valuable, and in what order to do those? Let's give it that, and because it's in plan mode, it's going to give us some thoughts before it actually takes action. Okay, so here's what's actually coming back. It's telling me that we have solid feature set, which is great, and that there is a publishing blocker. So basically the sign in with Apple and iCloud right now doesn't work because we took it down for a little bit because of the testing mode that we're in, but we're gonna wanna put this back up before we publish, which is absolutely for sure what we wanna do. And then we don't yet have payments, so that's totally fine. No analytics, crash reporting, and the AI service has no per user rate limit or cost guard. Perfect. So it's asking me some questions here. I'm gonna answer these questions, and then we're gonna be able to take it to the next step. So the first thing is asking me about the actual business model. How do we actually wanna make money with this? I'm going to research a little bit what Cal AI did, and I'm gonna find a similar business model. Why reinvent something that works? How does Cal AI make money? What is their exact business model? Are they freemium? If so, how many logged meals can you do before the paywall unlocks? Let me know. Let's have a free trial with 3 scans and then a paywall to unlock unlimited. Okay, so I found out that they have a hard paywall. What I'm gonna do is actually allow people to do 3 free scans before I actually charge them. So that's gonna be our approach. I'm adding that here, and then I'm gonna answer the additional questions and we're gonna let it roll. Features on the settings page that don't currently work. I think we can take away the ones that are not essential and make those that are work. Okay, so I just answered all the questions it's asked me, and now I'm basically waiting for it to come up with a full plan based on the answers to those questions, and we should be good to go. I see that right here. Here's the work I recommend. Let's go ahead and check it out, and then we'll be able to approve it. Okay, so I've now approved it, and let's go ahead and see what it does. Okay, so it came up with a full plan, and I'm super happy with it. And more importantly, it's now telling me that it needs an API key for the payment side of things. So I looked into it to figure out how much should I charge. I saw that basically CalAI was charging a range of different prices depending on the people. I'm basically gonna go for the lower range of what they were charging. So I basically decided to go for $5.99 per month or $29.99 per year. However, to charge inside of an app, you need to have a different tool that is not gonna be Stripe, PayPal, or one of the others. What makes it really easy is a company called RevenueCat, not a sponsor, but I'll bring you here. I actually need to sign up for this process. It's no plans. You don't basically charge for it, but you're gonna then pay 1% of what you track. So I'm gonna sign up for this. I'm gonna need to create an API key. It's basically just a long key that I'm then going to feed inside of here. So if you see in Rourke, now it's asking for me to connect. Click on this, and basically it's gonna ask for the email. So I have to log into RevenueCat. So I'll create an account and then I will wire it up. Let's move on to the next part, and hopefully we're gonna be having a product that actually charges soon. And now that I've done the onboarding here, I'm gonna go back inside here and we're gonna go ahead and sign up with RevenueCat through Rourke, right? So I just clicked on that little button inside the chat in Rourke. Here it's asking me for my password. We go ahead and log in here, RevenueCat's project, okay. Read and write, authorize. And now it's gonna be able to identify and hopefully find MicroSnap, where I actually set the payment criteria. Let's go ahead and select that project, connect to RevenueCat. And here in the left nav, I'm pretty much just gonna follow through the instructions it's giving me. And hopefully it will be wired up. We're then gonna be able to test that out, see if it actually is blocking us. After we do 3 snaps, we're gonna be able to start thinking about launching if this works. But let's not get ahead of ourselves right now. This is actually in the process of setting up payments. Okay, so for this, now it's showing me its plan for the subscriptions. So I get 3 free scans, and then basically on the 4th tap of the camera, right after it's done those 3 scans, it's going to show the paywall. Yeah, this is pretty much exactly what I'm looking for, $5.99. So it's pretty much confirming the plan of how to set this up, the settings, how this actually works. All of this looks good to me. So I'm gonna go ahead and approve this plan, and we're gonna let it cook. Okay, so it's making all of the final modifications here. Hopefully we will be able to get payments working, and then we're gonna be thinking about how we can push this to the App Store. So follow along, let's keep going. Okay, great news. Payments are up and running. Of course, sandbox mode for the moment because we're not live in the App Store, but I'm gonna test it out. I really wanna make sure that this mechanism of converting people from free to paid works well. So yeah, so I basically re-downloaded the app, then I deleted all of the menu items I had added. As you can see here, we're starting at 0, and now it's gonna be time to basically test this out. So I'm hoping that after the 3rd scan, it's basically gonna tell me, hey, you need to upgrade, right? Because that's really the strategy. Show that it really works, and then basically get people to upsell to, hey, I'm gonna be a recurring user. So let's go ahead and check this out. So to make this fun, I actually got a couple menu items. I'm gonna scan the first one, which is a burger. Take a picture of the burger, give it a second to analyze it, and in real time, it should be able to show us exactly the number of calories and break down also like the different breakdowns of what's inside. So yeah, that worked perfectly. And if we check a little bit further down, it actually tells you the items that are inside this, which is pretty great. As you can see, the buns, then the burger, and also the individual lettuce and, you know, basically the veggies in it. So this looks great. I'm gonna go ahead and log this, and I'm gonna do my second one. Now for the second one, I have a Sushi platter. Man, I'm gonna be hungry after this, just saying. So now it's doing the sushi platter. Let's go ahead and see how this does. Sushi platter. Ooh, look how nice those little pieces of sushi. I'm gonna have to go for sushi tonight with my wife. 705 calories. Excellent. Health, 9 out of 10. Great, I love that. So let's go ahead and log that one. And finally, I have the Caesar salad. Let's go ahead and do a scan of that. Boom, Caesar salad. Now this Caesar salad has a lot of dressing on the side, so I'm guessing that it's gonna be a couple calories. Let's go ahead and see. Let's see what shows up. Boom, okay, look at that, even more than the sushi. So that worked, but now is when we have to really check if it's working or not, because I'm gonna go to good old buddy falafel over here, and if this works correctly, when I click on this, it should ask me to upgrade. Hopefully it does that. Let's go ahead and see. Oh, boom, and it presents the different plans that we have here. So this is actually exactly what I was looking for. Let's go ahead and see if I click on monthly. Let's see what it does. Continue. Test valid purchase. Check this out. It's basically asking me to test out whether, just do a test purchase, which is perfect. Of course, once we go live, that will be, so it's valid purchase, perfect. And now, hopefully, if it works well, I'm able to add this falafel and it should be able to actually analyze. It's allowing me to analyze. My friends, we are crushing it. Let's go. Hopefully this falafel is not gonna make me too fat. What, 700? I'm just kidding. But yeah, it works. I'm super stoked, and let's move into the next step. Now, at this point in the build, I'm gonna really start relying a little bit more on the actual app to tell me what we want to do next, because it has a full understanding of the code base. So let's jump back into Rourke and figure out how to proceed from here. Excellent. It seems like the payments that we tried are working. Now could you let me know the exact steps one by one to get this live in the App Store? So every step. I also want to make sure that I am troubleshooting this app and maybe refactoring some code if necessary. You tell me what you think is the best as a plan, and then we'll take it from there. So let's just let it cook a little bit, and hopefully we're gonna be able to get a good plan for the last steps. But we know there's a couple things that I just mentioned that are gonna be required. Okay, so the last steps are exactly what I thought they would be. First one is basically pre-flight cleanup. So we're gonna do the in-app native screens, the tiny hosted website for the terms and conditions, then troubleshooting and refactoring. We make sure we pass those. Then we're gonna go ahead and prepare ourselves for the App Store. But before we do that, let's just do step one. The final step will be listing and submission. We need to submit this to the App Store. And yeah, it's typically gonna take 24 to 48 hours for us to get an answer from them. Okay, let's start with phase one, break it down step by step. Boom, and just like that, we're gonna let it cook, and we're basically gonna follow the steps it asks us to do. Okay, so it's now created the legal documents, and it's saying next step is gonna be to actually create a hosted legal URL where it can basically see all this stuff, and it's asking me if I have a domain. But first, let me go ahead and check whether or not I can see these legal docs inside the settings here. So I'm just gonna check it out. It's gonna tell us to go through this again. Let's get started. Go inside the settings here, and now we can see that if we go a little bit further down, privacy policy, terms of service, everything is here. Well, this is pretty much everything that I needed. Let me go back now. Let's go ahead and see the privacy policy. Okay, that also works. So we have all the information we need now, and we should be good to go into the next step. So let's say, okay, now let's move to the hosted legal URL. I'm going to buy a legal domain, and then I'll attach it to it. Go ahead and build it, and then once we're done with that, we're gonna be able to talk about actually hosting it. In parallel, I took the liberty to come and check out some domains. Macrosnap.io is available. So I'm actually gonna add that to cart, and we're gonna buy it right now, and we're gonna connect it. But I might just see whether or not it's not easier to buy it straight from within this platform. I'll mention it here. So let me just grab that, and then we're gonna go ahead and feed it to it. Think of this landing page as the place that you're gonna direct people when you're trying to actually sell the app. It's literally gonna just have a link to how you can go and grab it on the App Store. However, you'll be able to also use this to basically break down the exact features that you have inside of this, and hopefully you'll do a pretty good job first shot. Again, I'm trying to build an app that I can ship as soon as possible, because the most important thing is actually gonna be what the market says. Are they actually downloading the app? Are they converting from free to paid? If not, we have bigger fish to fry. So I'm gonna create a simple first version of this landing page and move on. Okay, so not gonna lie, I got a little bit sidetracked. I ended up creating a landing page just because I knew I was gonna have to put my legal stuff somewhere, specifically for the App Store application. And also, I wanted to have something that kind of showcases what this does before people click. So basically a one-page landing page. So I actually asked it to create that one-page landing page. And if we come here inside the code, you're gonna see that now there's legal site. There's a legal site with a bunch of different stuff underneath it. This is actually a website. It's not currently published here, but I'm actually gonna show you what I did to publish it. I first of all, and this is something everyone should be doing, is connecting to GitHub right here. This allows you to then have access to the entire project folder. So this is all your code basically, and it's not publicly available. This is a private version of this. And so here, legal is where all of the all the stuff is for this landing page. I basically downloaded this and then I uploaded it to and deployed it. This was all done on Cloudflare. And yeah, you can also do it on any app builder as well if you'd like to. This is kind of the landing page that I created. So very, very simple. Download on App Store is the main thing I'm trying to get people to do. And I'm probably gonna improve it after this, but I just created a first version with some of the benefits, how it works, show them the pricing. And any one of these brings you back to the top. If you click on this, it'll bring you to the App Store. Now, we don't yet have our App Store, so that's really the next step. How do we deploy? Let's come here to the top right and click on Publish. Here, we're gonna create a new submission for the App Store. You will have to basically fill out all this information. So in this case, we're gonna just go ahead and continue. They actually make it quite easy here for us to be able to keep going. I need to go and find my Apple developer password, but basically you wanna fill this up. Okay, and now we're gonna wait for it to upload. There might be a couple hiccups and you might have to do this a couple times. One thing to note is that you will need a developer license for this. It's basically Apple requires it. It's $99 a year. So I paid that actually earlier on today, and we're gonna be able to hopefully deploy this app. Now, an application doesn't mean you're accepted. The next step is gonna be to wait. I think it's 48 hours until you get accepted or rejected from the App Store. You can continue to improve and it'll tell you what you have to improve if you want to get accepted eventually. That's pretty much the process. And boom, just like that, we can see that it's now ready. You can upload this to TestFlight, which is basically an app that allows you to test it out in real time. So let's go ahead and open it up in TestFlight right now. Okay, so now it processed, and as you can see, it is complete. We could check it out here. We now are gonna want, this is TestFlight, right? So it's ready to submit. And when you're ready, you can basically submit this. You're gonna want to fill out some additional stuff in your application before you submit it. But yeah, this is the process. Now, in the short term and right now, we can also go ahead and click on the beta link, generate a beta link for it. This is something that you can send to your friends at any point so they can get access to the app to be able to test it out, and explains to them how to actually install it leveraging TestFlight. So yeah, all very cool. And now once you have it live in TestFlight, this actually isn't the last step. The last step is actually going to be to come inside here at the top, distribution. And as you're gonna see here, if we give it a couple of seconds, prepare for submission. So now basically you can go ahead and fill out all of the information that you need. It's gonna require for you to take some screenshots of the actual app to actually upload here. It's also gonna ask you to fill out all this additional information. You can go and check out how best to do that online. And yeah, app clips as well, provide some of those, iMessage. So basically fill out all this information. Down here, it's basically gonna allow you now to add a build. So as you can see, there's a build here that we've already created because it's already in TestFlight. You would select this one and say done. I'm gonna cancel just because I'm not gonna do it right now. I wanna do a couple other small things, app review information, and then basically you're gonna be ready to actually submit it. So yeah, that's pretty much the full process to get it in the App Store. So that's exactly how to build a full mobile app from scratch without any coding skills. However, sometimes the first step is just upskilling with AI. So if you wanna know the 7 different levels of mastering AI, I've broken each one individually inside this video. Check it out. Hope you enjoyed this video. Stop being scared, my friends. Launch your app today. Let's freaking go.